This man's special talents is that he is really good at escaping from prison. He escaped from 3 maximum security prisons in his life. This man's name is Richard McNair, and in 1987 he was attempting a robbery which went terribly wrong. Richard ended up killing somebody, and police arrested him and took him to the jailhouse. But they didn't search him, and Richard had some chapstick in his pockets, which he then used to wriggle out of his handcuffs and escape. But his first escape would last only a few hours, as he was caught almost immediately afterwards. And then he was sent to actual prison with a life sentence charge. The prison he was sent to was in North Dakota, and 5 years later, in 1992, Richard McNair escaped prison again, this time through a ventilation duct. Immediately after his escape, he would be put onto the US Marshals top 15 most wanted list. And this time, he would go on to be free for 10 months. He supported himself during this time by stealing cars. But he couldn't evade police forever, and they did catch him. This time, he was sent to a much stricter institution in the Louisiana State Penitentiary. And he would go on to remain here for 14 years. But in 2006, Richard McNair had a job working at the prison sewing facility. And because he was familiar with all the ins and outs of the prison he was staying in, he was able to bury himself under this pile of mail bags and then mail himself out of that prison into freedom. It would be more than 5 hours before anybody realized that Richard McNair was missing. And Richard was trying to steal a car to drive away in. While he was doing that, he was stopped by an actual cop. And the cop asked Richard McNair if he'd seen a missing prisoner. He didn't know he was talking to him. Richard convinced the cop over the course of 10 minutes that he was just a resident in the area and out for a jog, and the cop believed him. Their full conversation is actually available on YouTube and has more than 38 million views. And shortly after Richard escaped into Canada, he was on the run for the next year and a half, where he would regularly travel between the US and Canadian border with everybody looking for him. His ability to escape police was second to none. But of course, everyone's luck eventually runs out, as did Richard McNair's in 2007, when he was arrested for the final time in Canada and then sent back to the US. And to ensure that he never escapes again, they sent him to the most secure prison they have in all of the US, ADX Florence in Colorado, where he will spend 23 hours of every single day in a cell just like this. And escaping is literally impossible. Also, Richard McNair has gotten a lot older, so I don't think he's going to be attempting to escape anytime soon. But hey, we've seen crazier things in this world.